prison cell was dark and reinforced, designed to hold even the strongest superhumans. But no prison on the surface could truly contain Captain Tuffarm for long. A sudden flash of crimson energy lit up the corridor. Malcolm Max, the Agarthan warrior, stepped through a shimmering portal, his massive sword resting on his shoulder. "Time to go, Sky Man," Malcolm said in a deep, calm voice. "Your presence on the surface is making things worse for everyone, including my people." Tuffarm didn't resist. He was emotionally exhausted, still reeling from the memories Mentalian had forced back into his mind. Without a word, he followed Malcolm through the portal. They emerged deep inside the earth in the glowing realm of Agartha. The sight took Tuffarm's breath away. A vast inner world lit by a central sun, with sprawling cities, forests full of dinosaurs, and skies filled with strange flying craft. But the beauty was fading. Malcolm led him through the streets of one of the outer settlements. Mutated creatures, victims of Jekyll juice that had seeped down through the tunnels, roamed violently. Buildings showed signs of damage. People with strange new powers were causing chaos. "You see this?" Malcolm said. "Your world's poison is bleeding into ours. The balance we have maintained for thousands of years is breaking." Tuffarm looked away, still bitter. "Why should I care? I destroy everything I touch. My own planet, my parents." Malcolm didn't sugarcoat it. He took Tuffarm to the Hall of Echoes, an ancient chamber where transmissions from across time and space were preserved. Holographic recordings from Bolok and Kolob began playing. The destruction Tuffarm had caused was catastrophic, but not total. Pockets of survivors still clung to life on the shattered remnants of his homeworld and its moons. They were suffering, starving, fighting for survival in the wreckage. Some had even begun rebuilding what little they could. A final transmission played, a desperate message from the remnants of the people of Bolok. "Is anyone out there? If you can hear this, we need you. Our world was destroyed. We need help. Please help us." Tuffarm stood in silence for a long time, fists clenched. The weight of everything finally settled on him. "I caused this," he muttered. "Yes," Malcolm replied bluntly, "but you can also fix it. You are the only one strong enough to do what must be done." Tuffarm turned to Malcolm, his eyes hardening with new purpose. "Then I'll start at the beginning. The man-made angels are out of control on the surface. They're making everything worse. I'll deal with them first, then I'll go home and face what I did." Malcolm nodded, a faint smile of respect on his face. "Good. The people of Agartha will be watching. Do not disappoint us, Captain Tuffarm." With that, a new portal opened. Tuffarm stepped through it, returning to the surface world with renewed but heavy resolve. The hunt for redemption had truly begun. Captain Tuffarm descended from the sky like a comet, green super suit glowing with determination. After his time in Agartha, the weight of his past still haunted him, but now it fueled him. The man-made angels had turned the skies above a major American city into their fortress. Their cloaked aircraft carrier hovered among the clouds, surrounded by squadrons of winged power-armored soldiers with halos and energy weapons. Tuffarm didn't hesitate. He tore through the first wave like a hurricane. Man-made angels were ripped from the sky by the dozens. Their advanced suits, designed to contain superhumans, shattered like glass against his raw strength. Wings were torn off, halos crushed. He moved faster than their targeting systems could track, smashing through their formations with devastating punches that sent shockwaves across the city below. "Stand down," one commander screamed over comms. Tuffarm's response was simple. He grabbed the aircraft carrier's hull and ripped a massive chunk out of it, causing the vessel to begin plummeting. The remaining man-made angels scattered in panic, but the real challenge was waiting. As Tuffarm landed on a ruined skyscraper rooftop, three figures stepped forward to meet him, the Abrahamic Axis. Kabbalah Thomas screamed, "That's anti-Semitic," and a wave of brainwashed American fanatics charged at Tuffarm. Dark Cross came from the shadows with deadly precision, every strike backed by forbidden combat knowledge. The Crescent teleported silently around him, landing assassination blows with deadly accuracy. For the first time in a long while, Tuffarm actually had to work. He took several hard hits. Dark Cross's techniques found gaps in his defense. The Crescent's vanishing act made him difficult to pin down. Kabbalah Thomas's summoned minions kept getting in the way. Tuffarm bled. He grunted in pain, but he was still Captain Tuffarm. He grabbed Kabbalah Thomas mid-scream and hurled him into a building. He caught the Crescent mid-teleport and slammed him through 3 floors of concrete. Finally, he overpowered Dark Cross in a brutal exchange of blows, knocking the extremist out cold. The Abrahamic Axis was defeated, Panting, bruised, but unbroken, Tuffarm looked up as the final opponent landed in front of him. Man God Connor had changed. His body was now massively muscled, veins glowing with unstable purple energy. He had taken a refined version of Jekyll Juice. His eyes burned with fanatical rage. "You should have stayed gone, alien," Connor growled, cracking his knuckles. "I was chosen to bring order to this chaotic world. You are chaos." The two titans clashed. Connor's enhanced strength was shocking. Each punch created craters in the rooftop. He actually managed to stagger Tuffarm multiple times, landing heavy blows that would have killed normal beings. For a moment, it looked like the super soldier might stand a chance, but Tuffarm's power was on another level. After weathering the storm, Tuffarm grabbed Connor by the throat, lifted him into the air, and spoke with quiet intensity. "I've destroyed worlds, and I've lost everything. I won't let you destroy this one." With a final, devastating uppercut, Tuffarm sent Man God Connor crashing through multiple buildings and into the streets below, unconscious and defeated, but the battle was far from over. Man God Connor rose from the crater where he had landed, his body glowing with unstable purple energy. The refined Jekyll Juice had transformed him into a monster, muscles bulging unnaturally, eyes burning with zealous fury. "You think this ends with me?" Connor roared. "I was chosen to bring order. You're just another freak who needs to be put down." Tuffarm landed, his green suit torn and bloodied. "This ends now, Connor." The two titans collided with catastrophic force. Connor was faster and stronger than Tuffarm expected. Every punch felt like a freight train. He grabbed Tuffarm and slammed him through 3 buildings in a row, then drove him into the ground with a devastating elbow strike. The impact created a massive crater in the street. Tuffarm tried to fight back, but Connor was relentless. He rained down blows, each one cracking Tuffarm's ribs and drawing blood. For the first time since arriving on Earth, Tuffarm felt true pain, the kind that made him question if he could win. "You're not invincible," Connor screamed, lifting Tuffarm by the throat. "You're just another alien mistake." He hurled Tuffarm into a nearby skyscraper, causing the entire structure to collapse on top of him. For a long moment, everything was silent. Connor stood victorious, chest heaving, laughing maniacally as debris settled. But then the rubble exploded outward. Tuffarm rose, eyes glowing with raw power and determination. The memories of Bollock, his parents, the destruction he caused, all of it surged through him. He exploded forward with blinding speed. Connor tried to counter, but Tuffarm was done holding back. He unleashed a barrage of punches so fast and powerful that Connor's enhanced body began to break. Bones cracked, blood sprayed. Connor refused to go down easily. He landed one final, desperate haymaker that sent Tuffarm staggering, but it wasn't enough. Tuffarm grabbed Connor by the head with both hands, lifted him into the air, and with a roar of effort, slammed him down into the street with enough force to create a shockwave that shattered windows for blocks. Connor lay broken in the crater, coughing blood, his body failing. "You can't win," he gasped. Tuffarm stood over him, voice steady but tired. It was never about winning. It was about doing what's right. Tuffarm exhaled a breath so cold it froze Connor solid. Tuffarm then focused his eyes at the villain and let loose his laser eyes, shattering Connor into pieces. The remaining man-made angels surrendered as their leader fell. The rogue program was over. Tuffarm floated above the city, looking out over the damage. He still had a long road ahead. The man-made angels were only the beginning. He still needed to face the consequences of his past on Bollock and stop the Jekyll Juice epidemic at its source. For the first time in a long time, Captain Tuffarm felt something close to hope. He had a mission now, and nothing would stop him. The city was in ruins. Smoke rose from shattered skyscrapers as Captain Tuffarm hovered above the wreckage, breathing heavily. The Abrahamic Axis lay defeated around him. Tuffarm floated up into the sky, battered and exhausted. He pulled out a secure communicator President Adam Lincoln had given him. "Mr. President, it's done. The man-made angels are finished. Connor is dead, the rogue program is over." On the other end, President Adam Lincoln let out a long sigh of relief. "Thank you, Captain. The country, the world owes you a debt. What will you do now?" Tuffarm looked up at the stars, his expression hardening with purpose. "I have to go back into the stars. My homeworld Bollock, there are still survivors. People I hurt, people who need me. I caused their suffering. Now I have to fix it." Lincoln was quiet for a moment. "Godspeed, Captain Tuffarm. And when you return, Earth will still need you." Tuffarm nodded, even though Lincoln couldn't see it. "I know." Captain Tuffarm hovered in the night sky. For the first time in years, the weight on his shoulders felt lighter. He had defeated Man God Connor. He had ended the man-made angels' tyranny, and now he had a true purpose, returning to the ruins of Bolok to help the survivors he had unknowingly abandoned. "I'm finally ready," he whispered to the stars. "I can fix this." A single silence shot rang out. Thump! Tuffarm felt a sharp punch to his chest. He looked down, confused. A small hole had appeared in his green super suit, and his blood was slowly spreading across the fabric. It had been so long since anything had actually hurt him. He descended slowly, landing on a dark rooftop. His vision began to blur. The world tilted. From the shadows, a figure stepped forward, cloaked in tiger and elephant skin, white mask glowing faintly under the moonlight, rhino horn gleaming on his shoulder. Benjamin Sleep, the greatest hunter the world had ever seen, walked casually toward the dying hero, rifle still smoking in his hands. "Finally," Sleep said, his voice low and satisfied. "I was starting to think you'd never stop moving. You put up quite the chase, Skyman, but in the end, everything bleeds." Tuffarm dropped to one knee, clutching his chest. He tried to stand, but his strength was fading fast. Whatever Benjamin had used, it was bypassing his incredible durability. You're the one Connor hired," Tuffarm rasped. Sleep stopped a few feet away, looking down at the fallen hero with genuine respect. "I am the Apex, the lion killer, the man who hunts gods and monsters alike. And tonight, I just bagged the strongest being on Earth." Tuffarm's communicator suddenly buzzed to life. A familiar, cold voice came through Mentalian. "Excellent work, Mr. Sleep. Connor's contract has been fulfilled beyond expectations. Payment has been transferred 10 times the original amount. Consider it a bonus for ending the legend." Benjamin Sleep checked his wrist device. A slow, satisfied smile spread beneath his mask. "Pleasure doing business with you." He looked back down at Tuffarm, who was now lying on his back, staring up at the stars. "You fought well, Captain, but in the end, even legends fall." Benjamin Sleep turned and disappeared into the night like a ghost, vanishing among the shadows and ruined buildings. Captain Tuffarm lay alone on the cold rooftop, blood pooling beneath him. His breathing grew shallow. The stars above began to fade. In his final moments, a weak smile crossed his face. At least, he had found his purpose. Even if only for a little while. Captain Tuffarm took one last, ragged breath, and then he was gone. Deep within a hidden Tomorrow Society laboratory, Mentalian sat motionless, listening to the final transmission from Tuffarm's communicator. The voice of the Bolok survivors echoed through the chamber, desperate, hopeful, calling for a hero. A slow, predatory smile spread across Mentalian's enlarged head. "Survivors," he whispered. "How fascinating. I always wondered if any of them made it." Beside him stood the general, the detached, living penis of Captain Tuffarm in his powerful robotic body. He wasn't paying attention to the transmission. His focus was entirely on two things in the lab. One was the preserved brain of MC Mufasa, floating in a glowing tank, still somehow pulsing with gangster energy. The other was something newer, a small test tube baby floating in amniotic fluid. A clone grown from Captain Tuffarm's DNA samples. The perfect vessel. The ultimate weapon. Mentalian turned to his most loyal servant, General. The hard dick slowly rotated to face him. "You heard the transmission. There are still people alive on the ruins of Bolok and Kolob. Possibly technology, possibly resources, possibly answers about our shared origins." Mentalian stood, his massive brain glowing with purple energy. "I want them, all of them. Their knowledge, their remaining technology, their loyalty, or their submission. This is an opportunity we cannot waste." The general's eyes narrowed with dark excitement. A low, mechanical chuckle escaped his speakers. "And what of the boy?" he asked, gesturing toward the test tube. "He is not ready yet," Mentalian replied, "but soon, very soon." Mentalian placed a clawed hand on the general's armored shoulder. "You have always been my finest instrument. Now I have a new mission for you. Travel into space. Seek out the remnants of Bolok. Observe them. Learn everything you can. If they are weak, conquer them. If they are strong, make them see that a new god has come for them." The general's eyes gleamed with bloodlust. "Finally, a hunt worthy of me," Mentalian smiled. "Take whatever resources you need. The Tomorrow Society will support you from the shadows. Bring me survivors. Bring me their secrets. And if any of them still worship the old ways of Mormon unity," the general finished the sentence with a savage grin, "I will remind them who their true savior is." As the general turned to leave, already plotting his journey into the stars, Mentalian looked back at the tank containing Tuffarm's clone. "Rest well, Captain," he whispered. "Your greatest contribution to this universe has only just begun." In the weeks following the fall of the man-made angels, the world began to breathe again. The rogue superhuman police force was dismantled. The immediate chaos caused by their tyranny faded. Jekyll Juice was still out there, still mutating people, still creating both heroes and monsters, but the overwhelming madness had finally begun to settle. And in the center of it all, the world mourned its greatest hero. A massive memorial was held in Connecticut, the very field where he had first crashed to Earth years ago. Millions attended in person. Billions watched worldwide. A giant statue of Tuffarm stood tall, green suit shining under the sun. President Adam Lincoln gave the eulogy, his voice steady and emotional. Today we bury not just a hero, but the man who reminded us what strength truly means. Captain Tuffarm saved this world from itself. He stopped the man-made angels when no one else could. He gave everything, asking for nothing in return. Today we say thank you. Mufasa and Lil Blaze stood near the front, both wearing ridiculous, oversized fake mustaches and cheap disguises. Mufasa was unmistakably aroused. "He was a fucking retard, I'm glad he's gone," he muttered. Blaze, clearly on his period, nodded silently beside him. In the far back, half hidden in the crowd, stood Malcolm Max. The Agarthan warrior watched quietly, arms crossed, saying nothing. He had done what he came to do, now it was time for the surface world to mourn its fallen champion. As the ceremony ended and the world celebrated Captain Tuffarm's life with fireworks and tributes, one final message played on every screen. Even the strongest among us can fall, but their light remains. Deep in hell, far below, in the burning realm ruled by Lucifer, the green angel stood alone on a cliff of black stone, watching the surface funeral through a scrying pool. Tears of glowing emerald light streamed down his face. He had hoped Tuffarm would be the one, the bridge between worlds, the unstoppable force they needed. But fate had other plans. The green angel turned slowly. Behind him, standing in full armor, was Deathrone, the immortal Aztec warrior pulled from hell's grasp. "It's time," the green angel said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "The false god's pieces are moving. The surface world is still broken. The real war is only beginning." Deathrone cracked his neck, a savage grin spreading across his skeletal painted face. About damn time. A fiery portal ripped open in front of him, revealing the forests of Idaho on the other side. Deathrone stepped through without hesitation. The green angel watched him disappear, then whispered into the flames, "The war is just beginning."